My name is Jerry, and I welcome you to the Players Theater Company production of The Matchmaker.
Now listen, Mr. Kemper, I tell you for the 100th time, you will never marry my niece.
And I'm telling you I will marry her, and right soon too.
Never. Boys, go practice under somebody else's window.
Mr. Vandergelder, your niece has consented to marry me. She's of age. This is a free country. There's some private little kingdom of your own.
There are no free countries for fools, Mr. Kemper. I thank you for the honor of your visit.
Mr. Vandergelder, will you please sit there still a 1 minute? If I cut your throat, it'll be practically unintentional.
There are no free countries for fools, Mr. Kemper, and I tell you, Ermengarde will not marry anybody who cannot support her.
But I can support her. I make a very good living.
No, sir. A living, Mr. Kemper, is made by selling something that everybody needs at least once a year, and a million is made by selling something that everybody needs every day. You want us to produce something that nobody needs at any time.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, you may sell a picture once in a while, but you make no living. Joe, go over there and stand 3 times. I want to talk to Cornelius.
Well, not only can I make a living, but I have considerable expectations.
Expectations! We merchants don't do business with them. I don't keep accounts with people who promise somehow to pay something someday, and I don't allow my niece to marry such people. No, Mr. Kemper, you go back to your studio, and when you're finished painting your sunset by the Hudson, why don't you try painting hope feeding a family? Or how about love melting in a snowbank? There's a subject for you.
Very well. Consider this, though. I regard any way that me and Ermengarde can get married is right and fair. She's of age, and there's no law.
Law? Let me tell you something, Mr. Kemper. Most of the people in the world are fools. The law is there to prevent crime, but we men of sense are there to prevent foolishness. It is I, and not the law, that'll prevent Ermengarde from marrying you. And I've taken some steps already. I've sent her away.
Sent her away?
Yes, to get this nonsense out of her head.
She's not here.
Oh, you can find her in Peekskill or Albany or try Syracuse or Utica. I thank you for the honor of your visit.
Everything's ready, Mr. Vandergelder. I've just finished packing the trunk. Ermengarde's been helping me.
Hold your tongue.
Oh, yes, Mr. Vandergelder. Ermengarde's ready to leave. Her trunk's all marked care, Miss Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street, New York.
Death and damnation! Didn't I tell you it was a secret?
Care of Miss Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street, New York. Thank you very much. Good day, Mr. Vandergelder.
It won't help you, Mr. Kemper! Death! At least you could do me the favor of being dumb!
What's this? Such a temper? Lord, save us!
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder?
Go get my niece's truck and carry it over to the station. Wait. Gertrude, has Mrs. Levi arrived yet?
Don't shout. I can hear perfectly well. Certainly the labels for the luggage are ready.
Go get the buggy and bring it over to the front of the store in half an hour.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder.
This morning I'm leading my lodge freight down to Spuyten Duyvil. This afternoon I'm going to New York. Before I go, I have something important to say to you and Barnaby. Good news! Fact is, I'm going to promote you. How old are you?
Well, I'm 33, Mr. Vandergelder.
What?
I'm 33.
Is that all? That's a foolish age to be at. I thought you were 40.
No, sir, I'm 33.
Man's not worth a cent until he's 40. We just pay him wages to make mistakes. Don't we, Joe?
Mr. Vandergelder, you almost lost your ear on it.
I was thinking of promoting you to chief clerk.
Well, what am I now, Mr. Van
You're
Gelder?
an impertinent fool, that's what you are. Now, if you behave yourself, I'll promote you from impertinent fool to chief clerk with a raise in your wages. And Barnaby may be promoted from idiot apprentice to incompetent clerk. Now, I want to see you again before I leave. Go in and get my niece's trunk.
Yes, Mr. Van Gelder.
Joe, the world's getting crazier every minute, like my father used to say. A horse will be taking over the world soon. Fine, fine.
I did what I could have, Mr. Van Gelder. What with you flying in and out of the chair?
You do a fine job, Joe. Same fine job you've done me for the last 20 years. Joe, I've got a little special that I want you to do for me. Is there something a little extra you can do? Something a little special?
Huh?
I'll pay you right up to 50 cents. See what I mean, Joe? Do some of the things you do to the young fellas. Touch me up a bit. Smart me up a bit.
All I know is 15 cents a word, as usual, Mr. Van Gelder, and that includes everything that's decent to do to a man.
Now hold your horses, Joe.
I was shaved to you for 20 years, and you never asked me no such questions. And I don't intend
Now
to.
hold your horses, Joe. I'm gonna tell you a secret, but I don't want you to tell that riffraff down at the barber shop what I'm gonna tell you now. All I'm asking is a little extra because I'm thinking of getting married. And this afternoon, I'm going to New York, calling my intended a very refined lady.
You're getting married is none of my business, Mr. Van Gelder. I've done of everything to you I know, and the charge is 15 cents like it always was. And I don't die no a hair, not even for 50 cents.
Joe Scannell, get out.
Well, let me tell you something. I think you're pretty rash to judge which is fools and which isn't fools, Mr. Van Gelder. You know, people that eat onions is bad judges of who's ate onions and who ain't. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Mr. Van Gelder.
The world's going crazy. The asylums can't hold them. They're flooding the country. What do you want?
Uncle, you said you wanted to talk to us.
Oh, yes. Gertrude, go get my parade regalia.
What?
You go for my lawn.
Oh, yes. Lord have mercy.
Ermengarde had a talk with that artist.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. He's a fool. Weeping, weeping. You can go down and weep for a while in New York where it won't be noticed. Ermengarde, I told him that when you're old enough to get married, you marry somebody who can support you. I've done you a good turn. You'll come and thank me when you're 50.
But I love him.
I tell you you don't.
But I tell you I do.
I know I tell you you don't. Leave these things to me.
But if I don't marry Ambrose, I'll just die.
Why not?
A broken heart.
Never heard of it. Mrs. Levi's coming in a moment to take it to New York. You're going to spend 2 or 3 weeks with Miss Van Heusen, an old friend of your mother's. Now, you're not to receive any letters from anybody except from me. I'm coming to New York today, and I'll call on you tomorrow. Who are you?
Malachi Stack, sir. I heard you needed an apprentice in the hay, feed, provision, and hardware business.
An apprentice at your age?
Why, yes, I bring a lot of experience to it.
Have you any letters of recommendation?
Yes, sir. First-class recommendations.
Ermengarde, are you ready to leave yet?
Yeah.
Well, go get ready some more. Ermengarde, let me know the minute Mrs. Levi gets here.
Yes, Uncle Harvey.
I don't need an able seaman, nor a typesetter, and I don't want a hospital cook.
Oh, sir, but it's all experience. Excuse me. This one is from your partner, Joshua Van Tool in Albany.
Oh, Van Tool, for the most part, honest and reliable, occasionally willing and diligent. There seems to be a certain amount of hesitation about these recommendations.
Well, Mr. Vandergelder, businessmen aren't writers. One businessman, 1,000, could write a good letter of recommendation. Mr. Van Tool sends his best wishes and wants to know if you could use me in the provision and hardware business.
Not so fast, not so fast. What brings you to Yonkers?
Why, I heard you had an apprentice who wasn't good for nothing. That you were at your wits' end to find another.
Wits end, wits end. There's no dearth of good-for-nothing apprentices.
That's right, Mr. Vandergelder. It's employers there's a dearth of. Seems like you hear of a new one dying every day.
What's that? Hold your tongue. I see you've been a barber and a valet, too. Why do you change your place so often?
Change my place, Mr. Van de Gelder. When a man's interested in experience...
Do you drink?
Oh, no, thanks. I've just had breakfast.
I didn't ask you whether, idiot. I asked you if you were a drunkard.
No, sir. Why, looking at it from all sides, I don't even like liquor.
Well, if you continue looking at it from all sides, out you go. Remember that. Here, with all your faults, I'm going to give you a try.
You'll see, Mr. Van de Gelder. You'll never regret it.
Now, today I'm going to use you in New York. I judge you know your way around New York.
Do I know New York? Why, Mr. Van de Gelder, I know every hole and corner in New York.
Well, here's $1.
Thanks.
Take these trunks to the Central Hotel on Water Street. Have them save me a room. Wait for me there. I'll be there about 4 o'clock.
Yes, yes. Oh, but first, sir, I'd like to meet the other clerks I'm to work with.
There isn't time. Hurry now. The station's across the street and the train leaves in a minute.
Yes, sir, Mr. Van de Gelder. You'll see, sir, you'll never regret it.
I regret it already. Come on now. Off with you. Off with you. 99% of the people in the world are fools. And the rest of us are in great danger of contagion. But I wasn't always as free of foolishness as I am now. I was once young, which is foolish. I fell in love, which was foolish. And I got married, which was foolish. And then I became poor, which is more foolish than all the other things put together. And then my wife died, which was foolish of her. And then I grew older, which was sensible of me. And then I became a very rich man, which is as sensible as it is rare. Since you say I'm a man of sense, I guess you're surprised to hear that I'm planning to get married again. Well, I have 2 reasons for it. In the first place, I like my house run with order, comfort, and economy. And that's a woman's work. But even a woman can't do it well if she's merely being paid for it. In order to run a house well, a woman must feel that she owns it. Marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder. Did you ever watch an ant carrying a burden twice its size? What excitement! What patience! What will? Well, that's what I think of when I see a woman managing a house. What giant passions in those little bodies. What quarrels with the butcher for the best cut. What fury at discovering a moth in a cupboard. Believe me, if women could harness their energies to something bigger than a house and a baby carriage, why, they'd change the world. And the second reason, ladies and gentlemen, well, I see by your faces that you've guessed it already. There's nothing like mixing with women to bring out all the foolishness in a man of sense. And that's a risk I'm willing to take. I've just turned 60 and I've just laid side by side the last dollar of my first $500,000. So if I should lose my head a little, I have enough money to buy it back. After many years of caution and hard work, I have the right to a little risk and adventure. And I'm thinking of getting married. Yes, like all you other fools, I'm willing to risk a little security for a certain amount of adventure. Think it over.
Station, we're running away.
Running away? Where?
To New York to get married.
Oh, Ambrose, I can't do that.
Why not?
Ambrose, dear, that wouldn't be proper.
Listen, I'm taking you to my friend's house.
Ambrose.
His wife will take care of you.
Ambrose, a girl can't go on a train with a boy. I can see you don't know anything about girls.
But I'm telling you, we're going to get married.
Married? But what would Uncle say?
We don't care. We don't care what Uncle say. We're eloping.
Ambrose! How can you say such a horrible word?
Ermengarde, you have the soul
Levi. Mrs. Levi, born Gallagher. Very happy to meet you, Mr. Kemper. Mr. Kemper, the artist? Oh, delighted. Mr. Kemper, may I say something very frankly to you?
Yes, you may.
This thing you're planning to do is a very great mistake. Oh, Mrs. Levi, of course. Please explain to Ambrose. I want to marry you, but not alone. Now, dear girl, you go in and keep one eye on your uncle. I wish to talk to Mr. Kemper for a moment. You give us a warning when you hear Uncle R's coming. Mr. Kemper, I was this dear girl's mother's oldest friend. Believe me, I'm on your side. Oh, I hope the two of you will be married very soon. And I think I can be of real service to you. Mr. Kemper, I always go right to the point.
What is the point?
Well, Mr. Vandergelder is a very, very, very rich man, and Ermengarde is his only relative.
But I'm not interested in Vandergelder's money. I make enough to support a wife and family.
Enough? Enough. Well, how much is enough when one is thinking of children and the future? The future is the most expensive luxury in the world, Mr. Kemper.
Mrs. Levi, what is the point?
Believe me, Mr. Vandergelder wishes to get rid of Ermengarde. And if you follow my suggestions, he will even permit her to marry you. You see, Mr. Vandergelder is planning to get married himself.
Married? That monster?
Oh, Mr. Kemper!
To you, Mrs. Levi?
No, I'm merely arranging it. I'm helping him find a suitable bride.
For Mr. Vandergelder, there are no suitable brides.
I think we can safely say that Mr. Vandergelder will be married to someone by the end of next week.
Well, what are you suggesting?
Well, I'm taking Ermengarde on the next train to New York. I shall not take her to Miss Van Heusen's as is planned. I shall take her to my house. I wish for you to call for her at my house at 5:30. Here is my card.
Mrs. Dolly Gallagher Levi, varicose veins reduced?
I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon.
I meant to give you my other card here.
Mrs. Dolly Gallagher Levi, Aurora hosiery, instructions and a guitar and a mandolin. Mrs. Levi, do you do all those things?
2 and 2 make 4, Mr. Kemper, and they always did. Now, here. I wish for you to call for her at my house at 5:30, yes. And then at about 6, I shall take you both to the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on the Battery. Mr. Vandergelder will be there, and everything will be arranged.
How?
Oh, I don't know. One thing will lead to another.
How do I know I can trust you, Mrs. Levi? You know, you could make our situation even worse.
Mr. Kemper, your situation could not possibly be worse.
I only wish I knew what you were getting out of all of this.
That is a very proper question. I get 2 things, profit and pleasure.
How?
Well, I am a woman who arranges things. At present, I'm arranging Mr. Vandergelder's domestic affairs. Out of it I get, shall we call it, yes, why don't we, little pickings? I need little pickings, Mr. Kemper, especially just now, when I haven't got my train fare back to New York. You see, I am frank with you.
Well, okay, that's your profit. Where's the pleasure?
My pleasure? Well, Mr. Kemper, when you artists paint a river or a hillside, you change everything a little. You make thousands of little changes, don't you? Well, nature is never completely satisfactory and must be corrected. I'm like you artists, Mr. Kemper. Life as it is never quite interesting enough for me. I'm bored, Mr. Kemper, with life as it is, and so I change things. I put my hands in here, and I put my hands in there, and I watch, and I listen, and often I'm very much amused.
Not in my affairs.
No, wait a minute, I haven't finished. There's one more thing. Yes, I'm very interested in this household here, in Mr. Vandergelder and all that frozen idle money of his. I hate the thought of it lying in great piles, motionless, useless, in the bank. Money should circulate like rainwater. It should be flowing down among the people through restaurants and cabmen up a little business here and furnishing a good time there. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Oh, New York should be a very happy city, Mr. Kemper, but it isn't. Oh, my late husband, he came from Vienna. Oh, Ephraim Levi now, that's a city that understands this. Oh, I wish New York would be more like Vienna and less like a collection of tired and nervous ants. If you and Ermengarde get a good deal of Mr. Vandergelder's money, I want you to see that it starts flowing down and around lots of people's lives.
Mrs. Levi, Uncle Horace is coming.
Oh, Mr. Kemper, you better be going. Oh, dear girl, I just had a wonderful talk with Mr. Kemper. You'll see Mr. Vandergelder and I will be dancing at your wedding very soon. Mr. Vandergelder, how handsome you look. You take my breath away. Now, dear girl, I'll see you real soon. Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, if only Irene Malloy could see you now. But then, I don't know what's come over you lately. Why, you seem to be growing younger every day.
Allowing for exaggeration, Mrs. Levi, if a man eats careful, there's no reason why he should look old.
You never said a true word.
Well, I've never seen 60 or 55 again.
55. Why, I can see at a glance you're the sort who'll be stamping about at 100 and eating 5 meals a day, just like what's his name, Uncle Harry. Why, at 55, Uncle Harry was a mere boy. Mr. Vandergelder, I'm a judge of hands. Show me your hand. Oh, Lord in heaven, what a lifeline.
Where?
It goes from here to here. Why, it goes right off your hand. I don't know where it goes. They'll have to stifle you with a sofa pillow. They'll have to hit you on the head with a mallet while you'll bury us all. Well, however, to return to our business, yes. Mr. Vandergelder, I suppose you've changed your mind again. I suppose you've given up all idea of getting married.
No, not at all, Mrs. Levi. I have news for you.
News?
Yes, news.
Oh.
I've practically decided to ask Mrs. Malloy to be my wife.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have. Well, I guess that's the best news I ever heard. Oh, dear me, so there's nothing more for me to do but wish you every happiness under the sun and say goodbye.
Well, Mrs. Levi, surely I thought that...
Well, I do have one little suggestion to make, but I won't. You're going to marry Mrs. Malloy and that closes the matter.
A suggestion, Mrs. Levi?
Well, I had found another girl for you.
Another?
The most wonderful girl. The ideal one.
Another? Hey, what's her name?
Her name?
Yes, what's her name?
Her name? Ernestina. Simple. Miss Ernestina Simple, yes. But of course now all that's too late. You're going to marry Irene Malloy. That closes the matter.
Oh, I'm engaged to Mrs. Malloy.
Nonsense. You can't change your mind and break poor Irene's heart. Why, when a man at your time of life calls 4 times on an attractive widow like that and sends her a pot of geraniums, that would be an engagement.
That ain't an engagement.
Yet, only you were free. Oh, I found this treasure of a girl. Oh, I felt every moment I felt so guilty to Mrs. Malloy, but I couldn't help it. Let me tell you. Listen to this. I told her all about you just as though you were a free man. Isn't that dreadful? Why, the fact is, I think she has fallen in love with you already.
Oh, my.
Ernestina Simple.
Ernestina Simple.
Yes, of course, she's a very different idea than Mrs. Malloy. Ernestina is. Like her name, simple, practical, domestic.
Can she cook?
Cook! Oh, Mr. Vandergelder. Oh, I've had 2 meals by this girl's hand, and I don't know what I've done as I live that God should reward me with such meals. And I'm the best cook in the world myself, so I should know.
How old is she, Mrs. Levi?
19. Well, say 20.
20, Mrs. Levi? Oh, well, a girl attractive favored fellows their own age.
But you don't listen to me, and you don't know the girl. Why, Mr. Vandergelder, she has a positive horror of flighty, brainless young men. Oh, a fine head of gray hair, she says is worth 20 shined up with goose grease.
That's not usual, Mrs. Levi.
Usual? I'm not wearing myself to the bone, hunting up usual girls to interest you. Usual indeed. Why, do you know what sort of picture she's got on her wall? Is it any of those Romeos or Lochinvars? No! It's Moses on the mountain. That's what she's got. If you want to make her happy, you give her a picture of Methuselah, surrounded by his grandchildren.
What's her family?
Her father. Oh, God be good to him. He was the best. What am I trying to say? Undertaker! Best undertaker in all of Brooklyn. Respected, well-esteemed, knew all the best people, knew them well, even before they died. So now, that's the way it is. Let me tell you a little more of her appearance. Can you hear me? Beautiful girl, beautiful. I've seen her walking down the street. Young men get dizzy. Why, they have to lean against the lamppost. And she, modest eyes on the ground. I'm not going to tell you any more. Couldn't you come over to New York today?
Well, I was planning on coming to New York this afternoon.
You were? Oh, I wonder if I could arrange something. She's so eager to see you.
Mrs. Levi, could I offer you two ladies a little dinner, maybe?
Really, come to think of it, I don't know where I could find the time. I am so busy with that wretched lawsuit of mine. Why, I'll be what's called a rich woman. I'll own half of Staten Island, that's a fact. But just now I'm at my wit's end for a little help. Just enough money to finish it off. Perhaps I could arrange a little dinner. I'll see. $50, and Staten Island is good as mine. $50. I've been trotting all over New York for you, Mr. Vandergelder.
$50, Mrs. Levi? $50 is a lot of money. I don't know where money's going to these days. It's practically in hiding. Well, here's 20. Well, there's 25. I can't spare no more, not now. No, I can't.
Well, this will help. Will help somewhat. Now, come, let me tell you what we'll do. I'll bring Ernestina Simple to the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on the Battery. You know it, it's good, but not flashy. Now, Mr. Vandergelder, I think it would be nice if just this once you'd order a nice dinner. I guess you could afford it.
Well, just this once.
A little chicken wouldn't hurt.
Chicken? Well, just this once.
And a little wine.
Wine? Well, just this once.
Now, about Mrs. Malloy, what do you think? Shall we call that subject closed?
Oh, no, Mrs. Levi. I'd like to have dinner with Miss, Simple. But first, I'd like to make another call on Mrs. Malloy.
Dear, dear, dear. And Miss Simple, oh, what races you make me run. Very well. I'll meet you on one of those benches in front of Mrs. Malloy's store at 4:30 as usual.
Buggy's here, Mr. Vandergelder. You ready for a parade?
Call Bartley. I want to talk to both of you.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder.
Now, do put your thoughts in order, Mr. Vandergelder. I can't keep disturbing and upsetting the finest women in New York unless you mean business.
Oh, I mean business, Mrs. Levi.
I certainly hope so, because you're playing a very dangerous game.
Dangerous, Mrs. Levi?
Of course it's dangerous, and there's a name for it. You're tampering with these women's affections, aren't you? And there's only one way you can save yourself: if you are married to someone by the end of next week. So think it over.
Get up here, will you? This afternoon I'm going to New York. When I come back, there are going to be some changes in the house. And listen to me, I don't want to hear any questions at all. So, you think you're going to be chief clerk, are you?
Mr. Vandergelder, are you going away, sir?
Yes, this afternoon I'm going to New York. And when I come back, there are going to be some changes in the house. I'm going to tell you what the changes are, but I don't want you to discuss it amongst yourselves. You're going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Vandergelder.
Hey, hold your tongue. I'm thinking of getting married.
Congratulations, Mr. Vandergelder. My compliments to the lady.
It's none of your business. Now go back to the store. Do you have any questions you want to ask before I go?
Mr. Vandergelder.
Yes, Cornelius.
Mr. Vandergelder.
Yes, Cornelius.
Mr. Vandergelder, does the chief clerk get one evening free off every week?
So, that's the way you begin being chief clerk, is it? When I was your age, I got up at 5 and didn't close the store until 10 at night. And then I put in a good hour at the account books. You elegant ladies lie in bed till 6, and at 9 o'clock at night, you rush to close the door so fast, the line of customers bark their noses. The world is going to pieces. I can't believe it. Now listen to me. You're going to keep the store open until 10. And on Friday and Saturday night, you'll attend to the store as usual. An evening off. If you keep asking for evenings off, you'll find yourself with all your days off. Remember that. And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip.
Look at that! The horses nearly ran away when they saw him. There he goes! What's the matter, Cornelius?
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk.
Don't you like it?
Chief clerk! And if I'm good in 10 years, I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. Barnaby, I'm 33 years old. I still don't get an evening free. What am I going to begin to live?
Well, you could begin to live on Sundays, Cornelius.
Twice to church with old wolf trap signs on the back of my head the whole time? And as for holidays, what did we do last Christmas when those cans of tomatoes went rotten and exploded? We spent the whole afternoon cleaning them up. Was that living?
No.
Barnaby, how much money you got and where can you get it?
$3. Why, Cornelius?
You and I are going to New York!
Cornelius, we can't close the store.
Some more rotten tomatoes are gonna explode.
Holy cabooses, how do you know?
I know, Barnaby. All you gotta do is light a match under them. I mean, it's such a stench, the customers can't come into the place for 24 hours. Barnaby, that'll get us an evening free. We're gonna live. I'm gonna have enough adventures to last me till I'm partner. Barnaby, get your Sunday clothes on. We're going to New York. What? Oh, that's right, Barnaby. We're gonna have some adventure, a big meal. We're gonna be in danger of being arrested. And we're gonna spend all our money. Holy caboose. Oh, one more thing. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we kissed a girl.
Kiss a girl? Cornelius, you can't do that. You don't know any girls.
Oh, Barnaby, I'm 33 years old. I gotta begin to live sometime.
Well, I'm only 19. It isn't so urgent for me.
Barnaby, listen. If worst comes to worst and we get discharged from here, well, we can join the army.
Did I hear you say you'd be old Wolf Trap's partner?
Well, how can I help it? He's getting old. I mean, when you go to bed at 10 and open the store at 6, you're gonna get promoted upwards whether you like it or not.
My partner.
Oh, that's right, Barnaby. There's no way you're getting away from it. You and I are going to be Vandergelders.
Oh no, I may rise a little, but I'm gonna be a Vandergelder.
Barnaby, listen. Everybody thinks that when he becomes rich, he'll be a different kind of rich person from the rich people he sees around him. Later on, he finds out there's only one kind of rich person, and he's it.
But
No, the best of all would be a poor person who has all the good things of a rich person and all the good meals a rich person has. But that's never been known. No, you and I are going to be Vandergelders. Barnaby, all the more reason for us to go out, get some adventure into us now, so live. Barnaby, will you come?
But Wolf Trap and Gertrude and... Yes, Cornelius!
Mr. Hackle, is the trunk waiting at the railroad station?
Yes, Mrs. Levi.
Take a last look, Ermengarde. What? Take a last look at your girlhood home, dear. Oh, I remember when I left home, I gave a whinny like a young colt, and off I went.
Oh, Gertrude, do you think I ought to get married like this? Oh my gosh, the young girl has to be so careful.
You know, I think I'm gonna have this room in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue.
All clear up here, Cornelius. Okay. Cornelius, hold that candle steady a minute. The bottom row's all right. Try the top now. They're all swelled up like they're ready to bust. Holy composers!
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you. I wouldn't dream of asking you such a personal question. Oh!
Well, it's what you meant, isn't it? And there's your answer. I shall certainly marry Mr. Vandergelder if he should ask me.
I know it's none of my business.
Speak up, Minnie, I can't hear you.
But do you?
Oh, Minnie, you're a fool. Say, do I love him? Of course I don't love him, but I have two good reasons for marrying him just the same. In the first place, I shall marry Mr. Vandergelder to get out of the millinery business. I've hated it since the first day I had anything to do with it. You know, Minnie, I hate hats.
Why? What's the matter with the millinery business?
Oh, I'm tired of being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it. I simply can't stand it.
I don't dream of suspecting you.
Minnie, don't be a fool. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. Why, half the time, all those ladies just come into the shop to take a look at me. Oh! Minnie, what are those two young men doing out there in that park bench? Anyway, those ladies enjoy the suspicion. They aren't certain that if they were certain I was a wicked woman, they'd never set foot in this place again. Do I go to restaurants? No, it would be bad for business. Do I go to the theater or balls or the opera? No, it would be bad for business. The only men I ever meet are feather merchants. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandergelder or I break out of this place like a fire engine and go to every theater and ball and opera in New York City. La 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 la. Mr. Vandergelder's la la. Speak up, Minnie. I can't hear you.
I don't think he's attractive.
Oh, but Minnie, what I think he is, and this is very important, is I think he'd make a good fighter.
Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, yes, take my word for it, Minnie. The best of married life is in the fights. The rest is merely so-so.
I will listen.
Now, Peter Malloy, God rest his soul, he was one fine arguing man. Well, I pity the woman whose husband gets up and storms out of the house at the beginning of a good argument. Minnie! No, Peter Malloy. Peter Malloy, he'd stand up and fight for hours on end. But he'd even throw things, Minnie. And there's no pleasure to equal that. When I felt tired, I just started a good blood-warming argument, and it would take about 10 years off my age. Minnie, Horace Vandergelder would put up a good fight. I know it. I've a mind to marry him.
Oh, I think they're just awful, the things you're saying today.
Well, I give you the younger one.
Ah, aren't you terrible?
Oh, wait till I get my hands on that older one. Minnie, mark my words, we'll make an adventure out of this yet. Adventure? Why does everyone always have adventures except me?
Mrs. Malloy.
Well, because I have no spirit, I have no gumption. Minnie, looks like they're coming in here. I know, let's go in the workroom for a minute and make them wait for us.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, my word.
Hurry up, keep me quick now. Hurry.
No one's here.
There was some women here a minute ago. I saw them.
Holy cabooses, Cornelius!
Oh, that's Wolf Trap, all right. We'll have to wait here until he passes by.
But he's sitting down on the bench. It may be quite a while.
We'll pretend to make some conversation when you come back. We'll pretend we're buying a hat. Barbie, how much money you got?
40 cents for the train and 70 cents for dinner, 20 cents to see that whale. The dollar I lost, I have 70 cents.
And I have $1.75. Oh, I wish I knew how much hats cost.
Is this an adventure, Cornelius?
No, but it may be.
I think it is. There we wander around New York all day, and then we come to the quietest street in the whole city. And suddenly, Mr. Vandergelder turns the corner. I think it's an adventure, Cornelius. I think, Cornelius, that Mrs. Levi's sitting there.
Barbie, what do you know about that? We know only one person in all New York, and there she is.
Even if our adventure came along now, I'd be too tired to enjoy it. Cornelius, why isn't this an adventure?
Barnaby, don't you be talking like that. When you're in an adventure, you'll know it all right.
Maybe I wouldn't. Let's arrange a signal for you to give to me when we're really in an adventure. For instance, you say, pudding! You say pudding if it's an adventure we're in.
Yeah, okay. Barnaby, I'll have to think about what to say when these ladies come back, so what's the name of the lady who runs this shop?
Mrs. Malloy, hats for ladies.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy. Wonderful weather we're having. We've been looking everywhere for some beautiful hats.
That's fine, Cornelius.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy. Wonderful weather we're... Barnaby, we'll make her think we're rich. Wonderful weather we've been having. We've been looking everywhere for some beautiful hats. Barnaby, you keep an eye on the window the whole time. Good afternoon, Mr. Malloy. Wonderful weather we're having. We've been looking everywhere for some beautiful hats.
I'm sorry, I can't wait.
And here, Cornelius' hat. Here, Barnaby, Tucker.
Well, I'm very happy to meet you. Perhaps I can help you. Won't you sit down?
Yeah, we will. Yes. You see, Miss Malloy, we've been looking for some hats.
Is that so?
Well, come to Miss Malloy, they say. So we came here. Only place we could go.
Well, that's very complimentary.
And they were right. Everybody was right.
So you'd like to choose some hats?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yes, exactly.
You see, Miss Malloy, we were thinking of 5 or 6.
Only 5.
You see, Mrs. Malloy, money, no object. None at all.
Well, Mr. Hackle.
You know, you have a very interesting street here. Something interesting happening every minute. Passers by and all.
You're from out of town, Mr. Hackle?
Yes, ma'am, we are. Barbie, you keep an eye on that street, won't you? You won't see that Yonkers every day.
Oh, yes, I will.
Not all of it.
So this friend of yours, perhaps she could come in with you someday and choose the hats herself.
No. You see, it's a surprise.
Oh, indeed. Well, that could be very difficult. You know, it's not entirely customary, but your friend is very interested in the street, Mr. Hackle.
And he has good reason to be.
You said you were from out of town?
Yes, we were from out of town. We're from, we're from Yonkers.
Yonkers.
Yonkers, yes, Yonkers. You know Yonkers. Hudson River, Palisades, Drives. Some say the most beautiful place in the world. That's what they say.
Is that so?
Yes, in fact, if you had a Sunday free, we'd like to show you Yonkers. You know, it's very historic, too.
Oh, well, that might be very nice. Not to show you some hats.
I was wondering, well, maybe Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers, too?
Oh, well, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are! Oh, sorry, so sorry. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers.
Well, very likely. Now, to show you some hats.
Oh, any hat you pick will be perfectly all right with her.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, then, how about this one?
Barnaby, look!
Oh, that's fine, Cornelius.
Mrs. Malloy, that is the most beautiful hat I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. Now, your friend is acting very strangely, Mr. Hackle.
Barnaby, stop acting strangely. When the street's all quiet and clear, you come on back and talk to us. Where was I? Yonkers! Yeah, Yonkers! You should know Yonkers, Mrs. Malloy.
As a matter of fact, I have a friend in Yonkers.
You do?
Yes. Let's see. Now, perhaps your friend would like some of this new Italian straw.
Well, who is this friend that you know?
Well, you might know him, although it's so foolish to say so in such cases, isn't it? It's Mr. Vanderbilt.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, then you know him?
Horace Vanderbilt.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Know him. No. You know, what an interesting shop you have here, Mrs. Malloy. I mean, where exactly to? And just everything here is just really, really interesting. And every corner, every door. Oh, doors! Barnaby, notice the doors. Covered doors. Completely interesting coat for ladies. Oh, that table. Barnaby, notice the precious piece of furniture this table. A lovely table with a low-hanging cloth.
Mr. Hackle. Now, really, now to show you some more hats, this nice Italian straw is just in, and Mr. Vandergelder, they tell me, is a very substantial man and very well liked.
Oh, yeah, charming. There's only one fault, though. He's as hard as nails. But apart from that, as you allude to, charming.
Oh, charming, yes. And a large circle of friends, I suppose?
Oh, yes, 5 or 6.
Five.
He calls on you here from time to time, does he?
You know, this summer we'll be very frivolous down our backs. Why, as a matter of fact, I'm expecting a call from him this afternoon.
I think, Cornelius,
I beg your pardon, Mr. Malloy. What? Mrs. Malloy, we'll explain everything later. Just help us this once, please.
Mr. Hackle?
We're terribly innocent, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, really, I can't have this. What are you doing?
Cornelius, pudding?
Irene, my darling child, how are you? Heaven be good to us. How well
Oh, Dolly, what a surprise. Oh, and Mr. Vandergelder in New York, what a pleasure.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malloy.
Yes, Mr. Vandergelder's in New York today. Yonkers lies up there, decimated. Irene, we thought we'd pay you a very short call. Now, you'll tell us if it's inconvenient, won't you?
Inconvenient? Oh, Dolly, don't be silly. It's so sweet of you to come.
We waited outside a moment.
Yes. Mr. Vandergelder thought he saw 2 customers coming in, 2 men.
Men? Oh, men. Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, what will you be saying next?
Well, then, we'll just sit down for a minute or 2.
No, don't sit down. Oh, no, Mr. Vandergelder, Dolly, I want to show you my workroom. Come along.
That's all right, dear. I've seen your workroom 100 times. I'll just stay right here and try on some hats.
Oh, no, see, it's over there. It's a darling. Oh,
maybe he wants us to go, Cornelius.
Certainly we won't go, Barnaby. I don't want her to think we're just strange fellows or something.
What are we going to do?
All I want to do is just stretch right now.
Or what happens when
No, Barnaby. I mean, I don't want her to be mad or anything. Barnaby, all I want to do now is just buy a hat. I don't care if we got to walk back to Yonkers all night. Barnaby, give me all the money you got. Stop! All those perfumes in there, they tickle my nose. Barnaby, it's a woman's world in there. It's very different. I like it.
I like it where I am too, only I like it better if I had a pillow.
Oh, here. Take one of these coats. I'll roll it up for you. The women don't like it when their coats get mussed.
Oh,
You killed a lion for this one.
now I can just lie here and hear Mr. Vandergelder talk.
This year, we'll be wearing ribbons down our back.
Can I take my shoes off, Cornelius?
Isn't a world full of wonderful things? I mean, here we sit, cooped up in Yonkers for years and years, and all this time, wonderful women like Mrs. Malloy are walking around New York and we didn't even know them. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, well, from where you're sitting, the way her eyes and cheek and forehead all come together as one. Right here. Oh, and the way the flames just shoot out of her eyes the whole time. Oh, I tell you, a fine woman is one of God's greatest miracles. Forget about Niagara Falls and the pyramids, they aren't in it at all. Oh, and they come up to my store in Yonkers and I say things like, yes, ma'am, or that'll be 75 cents, ma'am. But I watch them. But today, I talked to one equal to equal, and to one of the finest women I've ever known. They're so different from men. Oh, I mean, it's so different from men, you just want to laugh. You know what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong. They have a sort of wall around them, you know, of pride, you know, sort of play acting, you know? Bet you could be married to a woman for 100 years and never know she liked you or not. This moment, I'm in danger. I'm in danger of losing my job, my future, and everything that's important to me. But you know what? I don't care! Because even if I have to dig ditches for the rest of my life, I'll be a ditch digger that once had a wonderful day! Barnaby! Barnaby, get up! Get up!
You woke me up.
Barnaby, we can't go back to Yonkers, and you know why?
Why not, Cornelius?
Well, we've had an adventure, right? We've had a good meal. We've been in danger of being arrested. But there's one more thing. One more thing we gotta do before we go back to Yonkers to success.
You're never gonna kiss Mrs. Malloy.
Maybe.
But she'll scream, Cornelius.
Barnaby, you don't know anything at all. Everybody except you and I goes through life kissing left and right all the time.
Well, thanks for telling me. I often wondered.
Just a minute, Irene. I must get my handkerchief.
Why, Mr. Hackle, I thought you were up to Yonkers.
I almost always am, Mrs. Levi. Mrs. Levi, please don't tell Mr. Vandergelder, please.
We're terribly innocent, Mrs.
Who's that?
What? Just take a call.
Who else is here?
No one, Mrs. Levi, just the two of us.
Oh, friends of Mrs. Malloy, is that it?
Oh, no. We just met her a few minutes ago, didn't we, Barney? And we like her a lot, don't we, Barney? And we like her ready to tell the whole world that she's the finest woman I've ever known.
Oh, and does she think you're the finest man she's ever known?
Mrs. Levi, I don't suppose she notices I'm even alive.
Oh, Mr. Hackle, I'm certain she notices you're alive in that cupboard. Now, if I were you, I'd get back into it right away. Someone could be coming in any minute.
Dolly, can I help you with something?
Oh, no, I was just blowing my nose.
Mrs. Malloy, I have some advice to give you about your business.
Oh, advice from Mr. Vandergelder. The whole city should hear this.
In the first place, the aim of business is to make a profit.
Is that so?
I never heard it put so clearly before. Did you hear it?
Mrs. Malloy, you pay those girls of yours too much. You pay them as much as men. Girls like that enjoy their work. Wages, Mrs. Malloy, are paid to make people do work they don't want to do.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder thinks so ably, and that's exactly the way he runs his business up in Yonkers.
Mrs. Malloy, I'd like for you to come up to Yonkers.
Oh, that would be very nice. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I know someone else in Yonkers.
Oh, who?
Well, someone quite well-to-do, it seems, although he's very free and easy in his behavior. In Yonkers, Mr. Vandergelder, do you know a Mr. Cornelius Hackle?
Cornelius Hackle? I know him like I know my own boots.
Oh, is that so?
Where would you have known him?
Oh, just one of those chance meetings, I suppose.
Yes, you know, it was one of those chance meetings.
What chance meetings? Cornelius Hackle has no right to chance meetings. Where was it?
Well, really, Mr. Vandergelder, it's not like you to question me in this way. I think perhaps that Mr. Hackle is more well-known than you think he is.
Nonsense.
Well, he's in New York often, and he's very well-liked.
That's right. Well, the truth may as well come out now as later. Mr. Vandergelder, Irene is quite right. Mr. Hackle is often in New York. Yes, he goes everywhere, has an army of friends. Everyone knows Cornelius Hackle.
It ain't the same man. He works all day in my store and night he goes to sleep in the brand room.
So you think, but it's not true.
Dolly Gallagher, you're crazy.
Oh, listen to me. You have your nose so deep in your account books, you don't know what's going on. Yes, by day, Cornelius Hackle is your trusted and faithful servant. That's true. But by night, well, he leads a double life, that's all. Yes, he is often in New York. He's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes, and all the great restaurants. He is at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week. Oh, the fact is, he is the wittiest, gayest, naughtiest, most delightful man in all of New York. He's just the famous Cornelius Hackle.
It ain't the same man. Why, if I ever thought he came to New York, I'd discharge him.
You took the horses right out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and dragged her through the street. Who? Cornelius Hackle? Who dressed up the other night at the Fifth Avenue Hotel as a waiter and took an oyster and dropped it right down Mrs. I can't tell you, too wicked. No, but it was Cornelius Hackle.
It ain't the same man. Where'd he get the money?
Oh, he's very rich.
Rich? I keep his money in my own safe. He has $146.35.
Vandergelder, you're killing me. Do come to your senses. He's one of the Hackles.
The Hackles?
Yes, they built the Raritan Canal.
Well, why would he work in my store?
Well, I'll tell you.
I don't want to hear. I've got a headache, and I'm going home. It ain't the same man. You can't escape the facts. He sleeps in my brand room. I just made him my chief clerk.
If you had any sense, you'd make him partner.
No.
Irene, I can see you were as taken with him as everyone else is. Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, Dolly, really, I only met him once in my life, and very hastily.
Yes, but just the same, you were taken with him. Now, don't you be thinking of marrying him.
Oh, Dolly, really now?
Maybe it'd be fine. Think it over very carefully. He breaks hearts like hickory nuts. Cornelius Hackle!
Mrs. Malloy, how often has he called on you?
Mr. Vandergelder, I'm telling the truth. I've only met him once. Dolly Levi otherwise than exaggerating so. I don't know where to look.
Excuse me, Mrs. Malloy. I must get that order ready for Mrs. Parkington.
Oh, yes, we must get that off before closing, Minnie.
I want to send it off by the errand girl. Oh, I almost forgot the coat.
Oh, the coat. No, Minnie, wait. I'll do that. Please, Minnie.
A man in there!
There's a very simple explanation, but for the present, good day. Oh, their room is crawling with men! Oh, there we go!
I can't believe my own eyes! The world is crawling! The doll is going to pieces!
Oh, Mr. Van Gelder, come, let's go. And Ernestine Simple is waiting for us.
Mrs. Malloy, I shan't trouble you again, and vice versa.
Irene, I think of all the interesting things you have in this room. Make the most of it, dear. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Well, Mr. Hackett, I suppose that was one of your practical jokes.
Oh, no!
Out of that, Barnaby Tucker, you troublemaker. It's all right, Minnie. There's nothing to be afraid of. I know all about these men. You think because you're rich, you can go around making up for all the harm you do. Is that it?
No!
Minnie, this is the famous Cornelius Hackett who goes around New York tying people up in knots, and this is another troublemaker, Barnaby Tucker.
How do you do?
Minnie, choose yourself any hat and coat in the store. We are going out to dinner.
What party?
Well, if this Mr. Hackett is so rich and gay and charming, he's going to be rich and gay and charming to us. He dines 3 times a week at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant, does he? Well, he's going to take us there now. Mrs. Malloy, are you sure it's safe? Safe, Minnie, don't be a fool. We're in such a position to put these men in jail if they so much as squeak.
Jail? Mrs. Malloy!
Jail?
Yes, jail, Mr. Hackle. Officer Kogan does everything I tell him to do. Minnie, you and I have been respectable for years. Now that we're in disgrace, we might as well enjoy it. Come and keep working. I know some ways we can perk up our appearance. We'll be back in a minute.
Mrs. Malloy? I hear there's an awfully good restaurant down at the railway station.
Railway station? Certainly not, no sir. You're going to take us to the heart of the fashionable world. Go on in, Minnie. Now, you boys have to remember that you made us lose our reputations, and now the fashionable world is the only place that we can eat.
Let's take it to the train station, Cornelius. She's angry at us, Cornelius. Maybe we better go.
Certainly we won't go. We're gonna see this thing through even if it kills us. And it might. Barnaby, for a woman like that, a man would consent to go back to Yonkers and be a success.
All I know is no woman's gonna make a success out of me.
Barnaby, we're taking those ladies out to dinner. So grit your teeth.
The cabs are in the corner. Forward march, gentlemen.
It's not very far. Maybe we can walk.
Minnie, take off your things. We're not going.
Mrs. Malloy!
Mr. Hackle, I'm not in the habit of going somewhere I'm not wanted. I'm not very happy to have met you.
Mrs. Malloy!
I suppose you think we're not fashionable enough for you. Is that it?
No!
Well, I won't be a burden to you. Good night, Mr. Tucker.
Miss Malloy, wait! Miss Malloy, wait! I mean, we want you to go with us more than anything in the world.
No, you don't. Look at you. Look at the Minnie scowling, both of them.
Miss Malloy, please.
Well then, smile. Go on, smile. Oh, that's not good enough. Minnie, come with me. We'll get our own supper.
Smile, Barnaby, you loud.
My face can't smile any stronger than this.
Well then, do something else. Do something lively. You know, sing something.
Sing? Oh, I can't sing, Mrs. Malloy. I really can't.
Oh, Minnie, we're wasting our time. They don't want us.
Mrs. Malloy, all we know are sad songs.
That doesn't matter. If you want to go out with us, you'll have to sing something.
Me.
Taking tonight, taking on the old campground. Taking tonight, taking on the old campground. Taking tonight,
All right.
taking on the old campground.
We'll come with you. Get your hats there in the window. We'll be right along. Here, you lock the front door out in the world. Oh, Mrs. Malloy, why you're crying? Oh, Minnie, the world is full of such wonderful things. Watch me, dear, and tell me, is my petticoat showing?
Now hear what I say, and I don't want you to make any mistakes. I want a table for 3.
For 3.
There'll be 2 ladies and myself.
That's a bad combination, Mr. Vandergelder. You'll regret it.
And I want a chicken.
A chicken. You'll regret it.
Hold your tongue. Write it down. Chicken.
Chicken extra hazy, chicken hunter style, oh, chicken a la creme. Chicken a la creme.
A chicken like everybody else has. And with the chicken, I want a bottle of wine.
Oh, Moselle, Chablis, oh, Beaujolais.
He doesn't speak English, Mr. Vandergelder. You better speak louder.
W-I-N-E.
Fine.
And we'll eat at that table alone. I want this table removed.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Some people coming in here now, Mr. Vandergelder.
Hey, it's my niece and that artist. Hey, those traitors, those scoundrels, and Mrs. Levi too, let me get my hands on
Mr.
them.
Vandergelder, remember what Napoleon said.
Napoleon said what?
First, observe your enemy. Hide, listen, hear what they're planning. Napoleon, sir. Be a Napoleon. Outsmart them.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Now, Ermengarde, dear, there's nothing wicked about eating in a restaurant. There's nothing wicked even about being in New York. Clergymen just make those things up to fill out their sermons.
When you in a public restaurant like this.
That's all right, dear. There's lovely rooms upstairs just meant for shy, timid girls like us.
Stack, I want to write a note.
Oh, yes, excuse me.
Go and call that cabman in. I want to talk to him.
Nobody asked the advice of a cabman, Mr. Vandergelder. They seem so much of life, they have no ideas left.
Do as I tell you.
Yes, sir. Advice of a cat.
My dear Miss Van Heusen, everybody's dear in a letter. It's enough to make you want to give up writing them. My dear Miss Van Heusen, this Ermengarde and that rascal Ambrose Kemper are planning to run away. Keep them in your house until I get there.
What's he want?
I want to talk to you.
I'm engaged. I'm waiting for my parties.
I know that you are. Do you want to earn $5?
Huh?
I asked you if you want to earn $5.
I don't know. I've never tried.
When those parties of yours come downstairs, I want you to drive them to this address. Never mind what they say. Drive them to this address. Ring the bell. Give this letter to the lady of the house. Make sure they get in the front door and keep them there.
I can't make people go in a house if they don't want to.
Can you for $10?
Even for $10. I can't do it by myself.
This fellow here will help you.
Now I'm pushing people into houses.
There's the address. Miss Flora Van Heusen, 8 Jackson Street.
Even if I get them in the door, I don't know whether they'll stay there or not.
For $15 you can.
Murder begins at $25.
Hold your tongue. The lady in the house will help you. All you have to do is sit in the front hall and make sure the man doesn't run off with the girl. I'll be there in an hour or two and I'll pay you then.
If they call the police, I can't do anything.
It's perfectly honest business, perfectly honest. The young lady is my niece. The young lady is my niece.
Yes.
She's trying to run away with good-for-nothing, and we're preventing it.
Oh, I know them, sir. They'll win at the end. Rivers don't run uphill, you know.
What did I tell you, Mr. Vandergelder? Advice of a cat.
Stack, I'll be back in half an hour. Make sure the table's set for 3. See that nobody else eats there. Then go join the cabin on the box.
Very good, sir.
Who's your friend?
Friend? That's no friend. It's an employer I'm trying out for a few days.
Ah, you won't like him.
I see you're in business for yourself. You talk about liking employers. Nobody's ever liked an employer since business began. I suppose you think your horse likes you?
My old Clementine? She'd give her right feet for me.
That's what all businessmen think. You imagine it. The streets of New York are full of cab horses winking at one another. Come on, let's go into the kitchen and get some whiskey. I can't be pushing people into houses while I'm sober. You know, I've had about 50 employees in my life. This one, he's the most employed of them all. He talks to everybody as though he were paying them.
Oh, I had an employer once. He watched me from 8 in the morning until 6 at night. Just sat there and watched me. Oh, dear. Even my own mother didn't think I was as interesting as all that.
That's right. Being in business is like being loved. You know that somebody is thinking of you the whole time.
Oh, see, Minnie, this is the place I meant. Isn't it fine? Oh, take off your things, dear. We'll be here for hours.
Oh, are you sure you like it here, Miss Lloyd? You feel a bit of a chill.
Oh, indeed, I do like it. We're going to have a fine dinner right here in this room. It's private and it's elegant. Now let's forget all our troubles and call each other by our
I know you're very busy, and if you don't have the time, that's perfectly okay.
Cornelius, there's no need to be so familiar with the waiter.
Yes, there is.
Minnie, what would you like for dinner?
Just anything, Irene.
Oh, no, really, what do you want?
No, really, I have no appetite at all. Well, I'd like some sardines on toast and a glass of milk.
Great grindstones. What a sensible girl. Barnaby, shake Minnie's hand. She's the most sensible girl in the world. Rudolph, take this down. Us gentlemen will have 2 glasses of beer, a loaf of bread, and some cheese. Thank you.
Cornelius, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. We've come here for a good dinner and a good time. Minnie, have you ever had pheasant?
Pheasant? No.
Rudolph, have you any pheasant?
Just fresh from New Jersey today.
Well, even the pheasants are leaving New Jersey. Write this down. Mock turtle soup.
Mock turtle.
Pheasant.
Pheasant.
Mashed chestnuts.
Mashed chestnut.
Green salad.
Green salad.
And some nice red wine.
And some nice red vines.
Barnaby, watch this. Rudolph, take this down. Neapolitan ice cream, hothouse peaches, champagne, and a German body. You do have a German body, don't you?
Cornelius, never let you be that extravagant. Champagne, yes, but no band. Now, Rudolph, hurry up about this. We're hungry. Yes. Minnie, upstairs with me. I have an idea about your hair, dear. I think it'd be nice, you know, with those 2 wee horns.
Cornelius, they say in the army you have to curry horses all the time.
Don't worry about it, Barnaby. By the time we get out of the army, we'll move right to the old men's home.
Waiter, what's that you have there?
It's some champagne, Madame.
Oh, it's not champagne, Cornelius.
Yes, I need that. There you go. Now look at this. This is the stuff. Open it.
There, please. It's for his honor, the mayor of New York. And he's very impatient.
Well, shame on him. The mayor of New York has more important things to be impatient about.
Oh, but man, he'll kill me. Oh, he will kill me.
Well, then have a glass first and die happy. You know, I come to New York for the first time to a public restaurant in 10 years, and all the waiters are sobbing and crying, he'll kill me. There, take that, love, and stop crying. Barnaby, make a toast.
To all the ladies of the world, may I get to know more of them, and may I get to know them better.
And to the ladies.
Oh, that was very sweet and very refined. Minnie, for that, I'm going to give Barnaby a kiss. Oh, hold your tongue, Minnie. I'm old enough to be his mother. And a dear wee mother I would have been, too. Barnaby, this is for you, from all the ladies in the world. Mwah.
Barnaby,
Now I can go back to Yonkers, Cornelius. Hoarding!
Oh, Minnie, I'm enjoying myself. To think that this goes on in hundreds of places every night, and I'm sitting at home darning my stockings. Cornelius, dance with me.
Irene, you see, we hackles, you know, we don't dance, you see, we're Presbyterian.
Lovely music.
Oh, you dance beautifully, Minnie.
Because the partner dance when you're not looking, Irene.
Oh, you thought I'd be cross. You didn't ask me to dance. Nobody inside. We were here first. This table is ours.
Ma'am, my employer reserved this table at 4 o'clock this afternoon. You people go eat in the restaurant. My employer said it's very important he had this table alone.
Gentlemen, I have a suggestion.
Shut up, you! And you're an impertinent, idiotic killjoy.
That's an insult.
Well, all the facts about you are insults. Cornelius, do something about the table. Knock it over.
Knock it over.
Knock it over.
I tell you, this table cannot be reserved for anyone. If you want privacy, you must go upstairs. This is the rule. Upstairs.
I won't. Cornelius, knock it over.
Knock it I'm going to knock it.
Keep the screen up and just keep the screen up.
No, I won't eat behind this screen. I won't. Vinny, make it over. No animals in the menagerie, Cornelius. No screens.
No screens! No screens! Hey, easy doesn't get rough with. No way! No screens!
No screens. Vinny, there's a fight. This is a cartoon. No screens. No screens.
Now you learn something. Here comes my employer. Where is he? Where is he? I'll lock him down. Bring him on.
It's all trapped. Yes, the screens are fine. Oh, we'll take another 5 or 6, Rudolph. Oh, you think you're good? Let's go. Let's go.
Stop changing your mind. Rudolph, hurry up. We're ready for the soup. The screen is your soup. The soup.
No, that's okay. No, this is very nice of you.
Stop! What's the meaning of this? I told you I wanted the table alone. What's this?
I did what I could, Mr. Bennett. You don't believe what savages the people in New York are. But as a woman over there, civilization hasn't even touched her.
I can't even imagine a thing like this. Everything's all wrong. Come on, help me off with my coat. Come on, don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
I can't make a sound. My voice. Look, far behind you.
Nothing from me.
Well then, let's put our heads together. We'll just whisper.
I hope that couple from upstairs hasn't gone off without your seeing them.
No, sir. Me and the cameraman, we kept our eye on everything.
I'll sit here and wait for my guests. You go out to the cab.
Yes, sir. Hey, what's this? My purse? Did you drop something, Mr. Vandergelder?
No, do as I tell you. Don't bother me.
Okay. A purse. That fellow over there must have let it fall during the struggle with the screen. I won't look inside. $20 bills. Dozens of them. I'll give it back to him. You're surprised? You're surprised to see me get rid of this money so quickly, eh? Yes. Well, I'll explain it to you. There's a time in my life when my chief interest was picking up money that didn't belong to me. The law is there to protect property, but sure, the law doesn't care if a property owner deserves his property or not. And the law has to be corrected. There are thousands of people in this country engaged in correcting the law. For a while, I too was engaged in the redistribution of superfluities. A man works all his life and leaves $1 million to his widow. She sits in hotels and eats great meals and plays cards all afternoon evening with 10 diamonds on her fingers. Calling the robbers. Calling the robbers. Or a man leaves it to his son, who stands leaning against bars all night, boring the bartender. Calling the robbers. Stealing's a weakness. There's some people who say you shouldn't have any weaknesses at all. No vices. But if a man has no vices, he's in great danger of making vices out of his virtues. Now there's a spectacle. We've all seen them. Men who are monsters of philanthropy, and women who are dragons of purity. We've seen people who told the truth, though the heavens fall, and the heavens fell. Now, nurse one vice in your bosom and give it the attention it deserves. That way, you'll have the miser who's no liar, and the drunkard who's a benefactor of the whole city. Oh. Well, after I had this weakness of stealing for a while, I found another. I took to whiskey, and whiskey took to me. And then I discovered a very important rule, which I'm going to pass on to you now. Never support two weaknesses at the same time. It's your combination sinners, your lecherous liars, and your miserly drunkards who dishonor the vices and bring them into bad repute. Now you see why I want to get rid of this money so quickly. I want to keep my mind free to do credit to whiskey that it deserves. And my last word of advice to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. One vice at a time. May I speak to you for a minute?
You certainly can. I want to apologize for this little misunderstanding with the priest. Sorry. What is your name?
Malachi Sex, sir. If you ladies will excuse me, I'd like to speak to them for a minute. No. Did you lose something?
Mr. Stack, this day I've lost everything that's important to me.
So bad.
It's killing me.
There it is. Don't mention.
You know what this is? It's a miracle! Barney! Barney, come here! Come here! I want you to shake Mr. Stack's hands. He found the wallet. With the money. You're a wonderful man, Mr. Stack. Oh,
don't mention.
I'm so glad I went to church all these years. Mr. Stack, you're so wonderful. I'm sure you've been told that. Where do you work?
I just began. I work for Mr. Vandergelder in Yonkers.
It's a miracle! Listen, I know you don't need it, but I want you to take this.
No. I might get to like that.
I feel so good. I feel so much better. In fact, I feel so good I'm ready to tell you the truth.
Oh, what's the truth?
The truth. Well, if I tell you the truth, will you let me put my arm around you?
All right, you can put your arm around me. Just to be shown it can be done in a gentlemanly way. But I must warn you, a corset is a
Why, you're so beautiful.
Thank you. Now that's enough. Now, what's the truth?
The truth. Yes, the truth. You see, we almost never came to New York. And I'm not as rich as you all thought.
Not rich.
Nope. And I'm not, I'm all confused. We come to New York, and I'm not like Mrs. Levi said I was bad or anything. You know? And I think you ought to know that sitting on the other side of that screen is Mr. Van Gelder.
I'm not going to let Mr. Vandergelder spoil any party of mine. That's why we were whispering, I suppose. Look, I think we should just all forget about Mr. Vandergelder and we'll just have some more wine.
Yes, definitely.
East side, west side, you know the words.
I don't know the words.
Good evening, Mr. Vandergelder.
Where's the simple?
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, I'll never trust a woman again as long as I live.
Well, what is it?
She ran away this afternoon and got married.
She did?
Married, Mr. Vandergelder. Married to a young boy of 50.
A boy of 50?
Oh, I'm as disappointed as you are. I can't eat a thing. What have you ordered?
I ordered what you told me to, a chicken.
Oh, I don't think I can face a chicken. Here's the waiter. How do you do, waiter? How do you do? And what's your name, waiter?
August, ma'am.
Now, August. This is Mr. Vandergelder of Yonkers. Yonkers' most influential citizen, in fact. I want you to see that he serves the very best you have, and serve promptly. And there'll only be two of us. Mr. Vandergelder's been through some very trying experiences today. Men hidden all over Mrs. Malloy's store.
You don't have to tell him everything about me.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you might as well learn now. If you're thinking of getting married, you have to let women be women. Now, August, we want excellent service.
Yes, ma'am.
You manage things very fast. When I plan a thing, it takes place. Where are you going?
I just want to see who's on the other side of the screen. Boys and girls. La 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 la
Well, who was it?
Oh, just some city sparks entertaining their girls, I guess.
Always wanting to know everything, always curious about everything, always putting your nose into other people's affairs. Why, anybody who lived with you would get as nervous as a cat.
What? What's that you're saying?
I said anybody who lived with
Horace Vandergelder, you get that idea right out of your head. I'm surprised you even suggested such a thing. Understand once and for all, I have no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
Oh, you've been hinting around for some time now about such a thing. But from now on, get such ideas right out of your head.
Stop talking like that. That's not what I meant at all.
I hope not. I should hope not. No, Horace Vandergelder, you go your way and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a hot radio. However, let's not discuss it anymore.
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
I certainly hope I did. Why, if I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. I'd marry Cornelius Hackle before I married.
Cornelius Hackle?
That's enough. That's enough of that. We won't discuss it anymore. Oh, August, I'll serve. All righty now. Now, here we go, Horace. All right. ought to discuss.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
We'll have forgotten all about it in a moment. Now sit down, sit down. We'll close the matter on it forever in just a moment. But there's one more thing I ought to tell you. Yes, you're right. I am a woman who likes to know everything that's going on, who likes to manage things. You're right. You're right about that. But I wouldn't want to manage anything as disorderly as your household. Oh, no, you can do that yourself. God helping you.
My household is not disorganized and out of control.
Very well. I won't say another word about it. Take some more of that squash. It's good. No, Horace. No. A quarrelsome, friendless, complaining soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You go your way and I'll go mine.
Stop saying that.
I won't say another word.
And besides, I'm not those things you said I am.
Well, I guess you're friendless, aren't you? Why, Ermengarde told me this morning you even quarreled with your barber, a man who's held a razor to your throat for 20 years. Seems to me that's sinking pretty low.
Well, we just had a little discussion, and I said, but my clerk...
They like you? Cornelius Hackle and that Barnaby? Why, behind your back they call you Wolf Trap.
They don't...
No, Horace, it looks to me as though I were the last person in the world who liked you, and even I'm just so-so. No. For the rest of my life, I intend to enjoy myself. You can get yourself a housekeeper. She'll prepare you 3 meals for $1 a day. It can be done if you like whole baked beans. No, Horace. No, that's all there is to it.
Dolly, Levi, you're a damned exasperating woman.
There, you see, that's what I mean. There's the difference between us. I'd be nagging you all day to get some spirit into you. Why, you could be a perfectly charming, amiable, witty man if you wanted.
Dolly, Levi, I don't want to be charming.
There, you see, but you are. You can't hide it.
Listening at keyholes, you have no right to say such things to me.
Horace, at your age, you ought to appreciate hearing the honest truth. A man at your age, you and I, we shouldn't be talking nonsense to one another.
My age, you're always talking about my age.
I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers with bad food and bad temper, you'll double it in 6 months. However, let's not talk about it anymore. But before we leave the subject, there's one more thing I am going to say.
Don't.
Sometimes, just sometimes, I think I might be tempted to marry you at sheer bidding. And if your confusion in your household gets any worse, I may have to.
I haven't asked you to marry me.
Well, please don't.
And besides, there's no confusion in my household.
What? With your niece upstairs in this restaurant right now?
I fixed that better than you know.
And your clerks bouncing around town behind your back?
They're in Yonkers where they always are.
Nonsense.
What do you mean, nonsense?
Cornelius Hackle's the other side of the screen right now.
It ain't the same man.
All right. Go and see. Go ahead. Knock it down.
I don't believe it.
All right. Eat your chicken. Of course, Horace, if your affairs actually went from bad to worse, and you became actually miserable, I do think it would be my duty to come up to Yonkers and be of some assistance. After all, I was your wife's oldest and dearest friend.
Now, I don't know where you ever got such notion. Now, understand once and for all, I have no intention of marrying anybody. Now, I'm tired, and I don't want to talk.
I won't say another word either.
Irene, I think we better go.
Oh,
Oh, Irene, here, take this. You pay the bill. You take this. You pay the waiter and we're going home.
no. Look, I know. You boys can put on our coats and our hats and veils, and then if he comes stamping over here, he'll just think you're your girls.
No things?
Sure.
Oh, I want to dress like a woman. I can never get a cake party when I do that.
Now, I've got a very bad headache, and I'm going to Flora Van Heusen's, and I'm going back to my hotel. So here's the money to pay for the dinner. Him? The money?
I lost my purse.
Impossible. I can't imagine you without your purse.
It's been stolen, or I left it in the cab. What am I gonna do? I'm new at the hotel. They don't know me. I've never been here before. Stop eating the chicken. I can't pay
Horace, calm yourself. I'll find us some money. Now sit down.
Dolly Levi gave you $25 this morning.
I gave it to my lawyer. I haven't a cent. We'll borrow it from Ambrose Kemper.
I wouldn't take it.
Cornelius Hackle will lend it to us.
He's in Yonkers. Waiter! Waiter!
So Cornelius, is this Mr.
And you found it laying there. I didn't think it belonged to anybody.
Well, that's funny. That's what the politicians always say.
imagination, everything in life like that. Disappointment, illusion. Our hopes, our plans, what becomes of them? Nothing. The story of my life. While strolling in the park one day, in the merry, merry month of May, I was taken by surprise by a pair of roguish eyes. While strolling in the park one day.
Pray God nothing's happened to the dear girl. Is it a long journey from Yonkers?
No, but long enough for 1,000 things to happen.
Well, we've been waiting all day. Don't you think we ought to call the police about it?
The police? If it's God's will, the police can't prevent it. Oh, we'll know in 3 days, in a week, or in a year if something has happened. And if anything really terrible has happened to Ermengarde, it'll be a lesson to him. That's what it'll be.
To who?
Why, to that cruel uncle of hers, of course, Horace Van de Gelder, and to everyone else that tries to separate young lovers. Young lovers have enough to contend with as it is. Who should know better than I? No one. The story of my life. Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? She moans the whole night long. I'll do the cooking, honey. I'll pay the rent. I know I done you wrong. Remember the night that I threw you out with nothing but a fine-tooth comb?
Well, I know I'm to blame. Well, ain't that a shame? Bill Bailey, won't you please come home?
There, now I hear a cab. Quick.
No, ma'am, I don't see anything.
There, what did I tell you? Everything's imagination, illusion.
But surely if they changed their plans, Mr. Vandergelder would have sent you a message.
Oh, I know what's the matter. That poor child probably thought she was coming to another prison, another tyrant. If she had only known that I was her friend and a friend to all lovers, she'd be here by now. Oh, yes, she would. Her life shall not be crossed with obstacles and disappointments as cook. A minute ago, my smelling salts were on the table. Now they completely disappeared.
Why, there they are, ma'am, right there in your hand.
Goodness, now how did that happen? I won't inquire. Stranger things have happened. La da 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 la da 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 da.
I suppose Mr. Vandergelder was sending her down with someone?
Well, two can go astray as easily as two.
God bless you. Now here's a carriage stopping.
Well, go and let them in, cook. It's probably. Oh, God bless you. It almost sounds as though I heard voices.
It's a free country, I tell you. Forward, march! Indian, we have orders. Yeah, no way I'm going to do that order. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Miss Van Heusen?
Yes, it is, unfortunately. And what's all this noise about?
Well, there are two people outside that Mr. Vandergelder said must be brought to this house and kept here until he comes. And this is his letter to you.
No one is going to tell me whom I'm to keep in my house if they don't want to stay here.
That's right, ma'am. People are always talking about people trying to break into houses. There are more people in this world trying to break out of houses. That's what I always say. Bring her in, Joe. No, I'm not coming in. No, I'm not. You knew you can't be throwing. It's been a terrible
mistake. This young lady and I jumped into a cab, asked to be taken to the train station, and these men made us come here. It's been a terrible mistake.
Ma'am, is your name Miss Van Usen?
Everybody keeps asking me if my name is Miss Van Usen. I think that's a matter I can decide for myself. Now, will you all be quiet while I read this letter?
No.
This is Ermengarde and that rascal Ambrose Kemper. Well, at least I know who you two are anyway. No. They are trying to run away. Oh, the story of my life. Mr. Kemper, you don't have to be afraid of me. Who are you?
I'm Joe. I stay here until the old man comes. He owes me $15.
That's right, ma'am. We're gonna stay here and see that these two don't escape.
Well, my dear, you take off your things and we'll all have some coffee. You two go out in the hall and wait, and I'll send coffee out to you. Cook, please take one.
Neighbor!
Oh, get around.
I was mistaken. I'm not the people you think with. Oh.
Mr. Kemper, I'm not the tyrant you think I am. And you don't have to be afraid of me. I know you're trying to run off with this innocent girl. All my life, I have suffered from the interference of others, but you won't suffer as I have. So put yourself entirely in my hands. Oh, Ermengarde, where is your luggage?
It's been mislaid. We'll get it in the morning.
Mislaid? Oh, how like life. Oh, well, my dear, you shall put on some of my clothes. Come along.
No! I wouldn't be happy with your things, Miss Van.
Oh, you're such a shy, a dear little darling.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. Put the gingerbread in the oven and get the coffee ready.
Yes, ma'am.
While I go and prepare a good hot bath for Ermengarde.
No!
Believe me, Ermengarde, your troubles are at an end. By tomorrow, you two will be married. You know, my dear, you look just like I did at your age. And your sufferings have been as mine. While you're bathing, I'll come and tell you the story of my life.
But I don't want to take a bath. I always catch a cold.
No, dear, you won't catch common cold. I'll come and slap you all over. I'll be right back.
Oh, Barnaby. Do you think we can jump from that window?
Yes, but we kill ourselves.
Barnaby, we're just gonna have to sit here and watch what happens. Barnaby, the situation is getting desperate.
It began getting desperate about 4:30. It's been getting worse ever since. Now I have to take a bath and get slapped all over.
Ermengarde here, you still have your wet things on and your bath is nearly ready. Mr. Kemper, come along into the kitchen and put your feet in the oven. What's that? It's the doorbell. I bet it's your uncle.
There's the doorbell. It's another man and a girl in a cab.
Well, go and let them in, cook. And you two, come along with me.
Oh, not your... No! Oh, you're gonna burn my feet! Oh, no!
but there's some mistake.
But I tell you, I am Mr. Vanderbilt's niece. I'm Ermengarde.
Beg your pardon, miss, but you can't be Miss Ermengarde.
But I am, and there's my baggage.
How do you do? I'll tell Miss Van Heusen who you think you are. She won't like it.
Come on now, Ermengarde, everything will be okay. But I'm going to go before she sees me.
Oh no, Ambrose, you can't leave. I feel so strange here.
Mr. Van de Gelder won't be here any minute.
Ambrose, you can't go.
Ambrose, you can't go.
Ambrose, you can't leave me in this crazy house with a drunken man in the hall. Ambrose, let's say you're someone else that Uncle sent down to take care of us. Say you're Cornelius Hackle.
Oh, who's Cornelius Hackle?
Oh, you know, he's chief clerk at Uncle's store.
But I don't want to be Cornelius Hackle. No, Ermengarde, look, you're coming away with me right now. I'll take you to my friend's house, or I'll take you to Mrs. Levi's house.
Why was Mrs. Levi so afraid Uncle Horace's face? I wish I were younger so nothing ever happens.
What's all this I hear? I told you two to wait in the hall. Get. Who did you say you are?
Aunt Flora, I'm Ermengarde. Don't you remember me?
You're Horace Van de Gelder's niece?
Yes, I am.
But he already sent me a niece named Ermengarde.
But he doesn't have another niece.
Oh, who is this?
This is Cornelius Hackle, Aunt Flora.
I never heard of him.
You know he's chief clerk at Uncle's store.
Never heard of him. The other Ermengarde came with the man that she's in love with, and that proves it. She came with Mr. Ambrose Kemper.
Ambrose Kemper?
Yes, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Ambrose Kemper.